Okay, so we're touching now on the key argument against democracy. So Madison said, look, if men were angels, if we were all really, really good people, then we wouldn't actually need a government at all. This whole thing would be pointless. We can just do what we want. But he says that we're not angels and that we do have moments of anger and rashness. And therefore, what you want is a government that can control itself. And this is where you get things like the separation of powers, which, if anyone does the politics A level or IB, they will have heard of. So he says you've got to give the government power to control the governed, the people, but then you've got to control the government. Otherwise, you'll get tyranny. So he wants these factions and these different divisions of the government to be pitted against each other or fighting against each other. And that's checks and powers. And here you can see the branches of state in the US, the legislative, the executive, and the judicial, which most of you will have heard of or be aware of to some extent. And this is a really simplistic version of how the Federalists saw the difference between a democracy, or too much democracy, and a republic. So it's quite simple, but it's also quite easy to understand for that reason. So be careful using this, but if you're not really understanding, this might help explain it a bit more. And let's return, as we spoke about quickly in lecture 1, to the Capitol attack. So after the 2020 election, where Trump basically says that he won the election and that the election has been stolen, well, you got exactly the kind of thing that the Federalists did not want, which is the people getting directly involved in politics. Literally, they physically go into Congress with weapons, and that is exactly the sort of thing that the Federalists did not want. Was a mob and was widespread anger, and so it's quite interesting that America has seen instances of this relatively recently, and it's also one of the reasons I think they have set this question.